my goodness gracious. I just got done watching episode 7. I have so many thoughts. My mind is racing right now. Let's get into it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Squid Game Season 2 Netflix series review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, now we have Squid Game Season 2, which is premiering, debuting on Netflix December the 26th, 2024, the day after Christmas. And guys, if it goes without saying, this is a pretty popular show. I believe it was one of the most popular streaming shows ever of all time or something close to that. And I think that's pretty amazing. And like it says it right here from Variety, is decisively #1 show of all time with 1.65 billion hours streamed in first 4 weeks, the company says. So yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to this, and I am too. So was it worth it? Well, I'll get into that in a second, but just like everybody else, my anticipation is through the roof. Before this show even started streaming, season 2, it was already trending on Google because I was trying to cover it, like over 100,000 searches, like, okay, when does season 2 start? So that's crazy right there. But guys, my expectations for this show, season 2, were through the roof. I could not wait to get into these episodes to see what was going on. I did react to the first few trailers, the teaser trailer and the official trailer. And what I liked is our hero. He came back being played by Lee Jung-jae, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I love this character in the first season. I love this character in the second season. Of course, I'll get into those details in just a second. But when you saw the first trailer, you realize that he went back and they're playing some of the same games. They're playing that red light, green light. And I'm like, oh, okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to be repeating the games, but he knows how it works now. So is this going to measure up to the first season, or is this going to be like a stale repeat? So my expectations are through the roof. Like I said, I could not wait. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this series is all about. I am also reacting to all of the videos individually as well, so go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you want to see my live thoughts in real time. Hundreds of cash-strapped players accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. Inside, a tempting prize awaits with deadly high stakes, a survival game that has a whopping 45.6 billion won prize at stakes, and this is season 2. I just finished watching episode 7, and the way that I'm feeling right now, I did not take any notes. And this is one of the first times I've ever did this for a review for a TV series, to where I just did not write anything down. I'm just going right off the dome freestyle. But I did like Squid Game Season 2. If I like it more than Season 1 is very debatable, because I honestly don't feel like we got the full season. It is a cliffhanger. Season 1, we got 9 episodes. Season 2, we only got 7. And after I was watching the 7th episode, I was just saying to myself, okay, how are they going to wrap all of this stuff up in this final episode? I just don't think that's possible, even with it being 60 minutes. That just really doesn't make any sense. How are they going to conclude this? And I really don't think it was a conclusion. At the end of season 1, they wrapped everything up in a nice bow. Yes, you still had questions. Yes, you still wanted to know what was going to happen next. And I will spoil things for season 1. At the end of it, Ji-han was at the airport. He got the phone call, or he made the phone call. He was supposed to get on the plane to go see his daughter, but then he got off the plane. They were saying, hey, get on the plane. This will be your best decision. I will say that I like how season 2 picks up. It picks up right where season 1 left off. But the way that season 2 ends, we have to have a season 3. If we don't have a season 3 of Squid Games, there's going to be a riot worldwide. Like, seriously, especially with this being the #1 show on Netflix of all time. And so, to be honest with you, I am really happy that we're going to possibly get more. But at the same time, I did want somewhat of a conclusion at the the end of this like we got in season 1, but we didn't get that. This is like the biggest cliffhanger ever. Entertaining, yes, but I wanted more of the story to come to an end, and it kind of just ended in the middle of a climax. I'm not going to spoil that for you here. You just have to stream it and get to the end of episode 7 to determine if you're going to like it. But one of the things that I do like about the series, which I mentioned earlier, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That is a universal rule, and if you stick to that for the most part, you will be okay. And Netflix, they did know the assignment. They showed up and showed out for the most part, not trying to fix something that is not broken. They did give us a lot of the same that we got from the first season that we loved, but we also got a few new things that will surprise you. For example, okay, we got red light, green light. We saw that in the first one, but we did not see how a player would execute their plan of survival if they already knew the rules of the games, and also is trying to communicate with the other players that's never been in that situation before. What is going to be the aftermath after that? Like, oh my gosh, how did you know how this works? How did you know how to survive? Have you been here before? What is the secret? These are conversations that are going on in season 2 that did not take place in season 1, and that just adds so much spice and flavor to this script, to this whole narrative, to this whole show series, and it makes it that much more enjoyable. Now, of course, we have so many different characters and all different spectrums of the rainbow, young, old, man, women, all of that good stuff. And it is a good bunch. You have your characters that you like, you have your characters that you can't stand, and then you have those characters in the middle that switch sides back and forth. There were a number of times where I'm getting to know these characters and I'm just saying to myself, man, I cannot stand this person right here. I want you to die, but they survive. Or the characters that you like, they die early, or they're switching sides back and forth. And not just one time. I mean, there are some characters that switch sides and switch their agenda every episode. So you're really playing a guessing game on who you can root for, because every show, every film, you do have your characters that you root for, your protagonists, you do have your characters that you want to fall to the demise, the antagonist. And this show right here is full of all of them. Something else that stood out by far much more in season 2 and season 1 is the score, is the soundtrack. I did not notice that at all. I mean, there was the main theme in season 1. Y'all know what I'm talking about when they play the trailer and you watch an episode. Of course, that's the same throughout season 2. But when you get to like episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, where the intensity is ranked up to 50 out of 10, and these characters are trying to survive, they have this score, and it just makes everything that much better. And again, I noticed that much more in season 2 than I did in season 1. And going back to the characters, there was some that I'm just surprised that I cared about. When they died, I was like, no, why are you dead? Please survive. Some people from season 1 come back in season 2, and those are the ones that I'm really attached to. And you're probably saying to yourself, like, wait a minute, Brandon, how were characters from season 1 able to come back in season 2? They all died. What are you talking about? You just have to see. And that's where it goes into the story, because we got 7 episodes. I will go ahead and admit now, kind of get into my negatives. The first 2 episodes was very slow for me. Yeah, I was like, okay, come on. Can we get to the games? Can we pick this up? I want to see some good stuff. And then episodes 3 and 4 was exactly what I wanted. I really did enjoy those. I was like, all right, we're in the thick of this. We're in the trenches. Let's go. Let's survive. Episode 5 was a step down because they walked away from the games, but episodes 6 and 7, those are possibly the best because you're at the edge of your seat. You just don't know what's going to happen, how these characters are going to survive with all the brutality and the mayhem and the gore and the lust for cash. Just like, man. So episodes 6 and 7 are the truth. But going back to the first 2 episodes, it was so much build up and aftermath to what happened after season 1 to where you may start to lose interest, because for me at least, things don't pick up until you get to episode 3. By the time episode 2 ended, I said to myself, okay, great, we're here now, but I feel like at least 45 minutes of this was filler, and it could have had some substance to it and not be filler, but later on in the season, these characters that they're building up so much are abandoned, and then you forget about them. I know at one point in episode 4, I was like, wait a minute, we spent so much time focusing on these characters in episodes 1 and 2. Where are they right now? I did not care about them initially, But if you're going to force me to watch their screen time, give me something later on in the season to show that it was worth my while. And it took a very, very long time for that to go into fruition. Seriously, at the end of episode 2, I said to myself, okay, I like how episode 2 is ending, but this is how episode 1 should have ended. Right now, at this time, after me watching the first 7 episodes, of course, you're still going to have some questions that are unanswered because I said that we need to get a season 3. It left us on a cliffhanger. But there's just some development as far as the plot, story, and characters in episodes 1 and 2. They're just non-existent at the end of this season. And that's just like really frustrating. And it makes me feel like we wasted our time. And of course, I want to talk a little bit more about our main character, our main protagonist, Mr. Seong Ji-hung, played by Lee Jung-jae. Really did enjoy him in season 1, and I enjoyed him in season 2 as well. He is completely different from each season. In season 2, everything is taken much more seriously, and of course, that's justified. He has a valid reason why, because he escaped death from luck and some skill in season 1. However, what does bother me about this series is season 2 is the reason why he went back to the games. It was very underdeveloped. It was very half-cooked, and it left me unsatisfied, wanting more. I was very, very disappointed by it. As an audience member, as a fan of his character from season 1, I wanted to feel as if he felt obligated to go back, to where he had no choice, to where if he didn't go back, someone he cared about was going to die, or just something really bad was going to happen. But I didn't feel that way at all. I felt more that he went back because he wanted to more than he had to. And that's just a bit disappointing. Another thing that really upsets me about his character, or just the writing in general for season 2, is the way that season 1 left off. He was on the phone with his daughter, and at the very beginning of season 1, they really did establish that relationship between father and daughter and how much they loved each other. The father did not just love the daughter, but the daughter really did love the father as well, even though she didn't feel like he was reaching his full potential. That storyline, that plot is completely abandoned in season 2, and that is really disappointing. That's the thing that I don't like the most about season 2. Now, they did address their relationship briefly in the middle of the season, but that should have been something that was addressed in episode 1 of season 2, but it was just a complete missed opportunity. I do not understand what happened there. I am extremely disappointed by that, and it is very, very, very frustrating. So unless this comes back around in season 2, part 2, or season 3, they really did drop the ball there, and it's a shame. I do like the creativity of it all. I liked all the surprises that we do not know are coming, because like I said, some of the games are repeats, some of them are not. But something they do keep consistent is just the cold-blooded brutality of all these employees. But what I also like about this series is not only are we following the players in the games, those are the people that we want to win, but we're also following the employees of the facility themselves, like the people in dress up in the pink suits, circle faces, square faces, and triangle faces. I do like that. And the hierarchy of power of how they explain who's over who and who rules over another person or another group of people. But I also like that we're following these characters and what their life was like before they signed up for this job, for this occupation. Were they rich? Were they poor? Were they in desperate need of financial salvation like the people in the game? We get to know them to a degree, and that is something that I do appreciate. And also, just when they are executing people, we get to see their facial expressions when they're shooting people, when they're getting rid of bodies. And I'm just saying to myself, man, how can you sleep at night? How can you wake up every day knowing that this is your job and it's just A-okay? You are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You are crazy. You need some help. I do like that we got that side of it because we didn't get that the first time around. Yes, there were players that were trying to harvest organs to make some cash on the side. And I'll just say, as far as these side missions that these employees are doing, we go much deeper than that they did the first season. And again, that's just something that I do appreciate. What I also love about this is just the reflection on society and how people just have different walks of life, of philosophy, and what they value, what they deem is important versus what's not important. Some people just want to live. Some people don't give a damn or just throw their lives away, not thinking of what's going to happen tomorrow with any type of plans. Some people are ruled by money, power, all of that. And that's within this series as well. enhanced, more intensified than it was in season 1. To be honest with you, it's just really disgusting the lengths that people will go through for money. There's nothing wrong with money or wanting money. That's just the world that we live in. You really can't survive without it. But at the same time, you have to draw a line somewhere, and that line is crossed tenfold in this series. It's gross, it's nasty, but it is entertaining. And of course, you have some twists and reveals on who's what and what they're doing or what they're trying to accomplish. Some of these were revealed early on in the season, like episode 3, and then they don't come out fully fleshed until episode 7. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? I may rewatch the whole series again because it was a lot to take in. Very, very entertaining. I think you should watch it. If it's as good as season, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say if it's as good as season 1 because for one, the ending was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, how are they going to get out of this? I'm just talking and reacting, just saying, okay, they can't do this, they can't do that. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? So it's really just hard for me to say that season 2 is better than season 1 because I don't feel like season 2 is complete. I feel like we kind of just stopped in the middle, or we have 2 more episodes that they're going to release at a later time. But we have to get a season 3. That's just, you can't leave us the way you left us right here. I will go into more depth in a full spoilers review, but I don't want to ruin anything now, and I'm pretty sure you don't want me to either. And I will go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end. But for now, guys, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, if you did like my review, my reaction, or the show, whatever, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share the video, and check out my reactions to each episode individually when I post it. If I had to rate Squid Game season 2 out of a 1 out of 10, right now I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, a solid 8 out of 10. I need more. I need more. There was some pacing issues, again, like I said, in episodes 1 and 2, and also episode 5. I feel like we just kind of wasted some time, but overall, I am entertained, and I can't wait to see more. So, guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in, and before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's just my opinion. Peace, and I'll see you next time.